Welcome to another Big Jimny video and another road trip. In this video I'm heading to the Midlands and Wolverhampton to investigate the importing of Jimneys into the UK. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So after an interesting journey, particularly battling with the traffic lights in Wolverhampton, how many sets of traffic lights does a town need? Unbelievable. I finally arrived here to visit Jimny Imports, Suzuki Jimny Imports, who specialise in importing Jimneys on a low volume personal basis. So this here is one of their current imports that I've come to see. Importing has suddenly become very popular. Suzuki sales have stopped in the UK. You can see my video on it linked to above here. But demand is still strong. People still want Jimneys. I still get people phoning up and asking where do they get a Jimny, why have they disappeared, and so on. And therefore this has created quite a demand for import. Equally, for a couple of years now, when you could get Jimneys, you could only get the LCV, which is the van version. Now, I particularly like the LCV because of its ability to become the dog wagon, the shopping wagon, and I know that people say, oh, you've got to off-road them and that, but in fact, as a little shopping trolley, they're really good cars. Okay, but they've also gone. But equally, four-seaters, the LCV replaced the four-seaters in the UK, so for a long time you haven't been able to get a four-seater Jimny. So the import route is the way to get a four-seater into the country. And therefore, there's a lot of information coming out about people wanting to do imports and getting how do you get an import in. That does mean, though, that this video is probably specific for the UK. So for anyone who lives outside the UK in the EU, and that the main thing, of course, being is that Japan has right-hand drive cars and the UK has right-hand drive cars, which means that the import-export process gets you the right steering wheel on the correct side of the car, so to speak. So if you're outside of the UK, I don't know what import and export options are open to you, perhaps somewhere like the Philippines or something like that. Equally, we have rules in the UK that actually do allow you to import cars, so that's a good way of getting cars. So why would you come and import through someone who does the importing for you? Well, there's lots of different aspects to importing. There's the shipping, there's the obtaining the car, there's transferring lots of money to Japan, importing the car itself, the shipping to get it here. And remember that that's, if you were to buy it yourself, that's all at your risk. It's your money, it's your car that's on the ship. If it gets damaged or scratched or anything happens to it, that's at your risk. Therefore, if you went through someone who is doing the import process for you, it becomes their risk. When you land it, it's got VAT and duty to pay. And again, someone who's importing it for you will get all of that paid, all of that sorted out, and all of that paperwork done around the process. There's the IVA itself, and that your individual vehicle approval, your IVA. This is what you use to get this car certified to run in the UK. Cars coming into the UK have to have an IVA. If it's an older car, an MOT may be actually applicable to it. And you need things like rear fog lights fitted. You need to change the speedo from kilometres to miles. And things like the tyres need to be compliant. They need to be E-marked or DOT marked in order to get them in the country. And not all tyres coming from Japan have the correct markings on them. So again, someone who's importing them will be sorting that out for you. And what do you get? Well, you get a brand new car or a nearly new car. This particular one is apparently coming up for nearly a year old, but it hasn't been anywhere in that year. It's just been in the process, the shipping and all of this kind of thing. And that, so it's approaching a year old, but it's only got 100 kilometers on the clock, and therefore you're getting a brand new car effectively, and it's a car that has been discontinued. Also, they have options on them that we never had in the UK. You'll see in the other parts of this video me showing the options that this one's got that you never got. Equally, if you're buying a used one through this process, then the chance of it being rusty are a lot lower. This is because in Japan they don't salt the roads, and therefore they don't get rust in the same way we do. Well, the first thing to watch there is that also means that they don't underseal them. So if you bring one into the country that's rust free, you probably need to think about undersealing it when you first get it. Disadvantages: no manufacturer warranty. Okay, you cannot get Suzuki to warrant this car. If it had come across Europe, if it had been a European car, then they would honour European warranties in the UK, but they don't honour Asian warranties. And therefore some parts as well that may be Japan specific. So things like the ECU, the body control unit, okay, which are Japanese specific, if they were to fail, then you would have difficulty getting one of those in the UK. But all the rest of the parts are identical. They're exactly the same as on the UK ones, and therefore you would be able to use UK parts there. So what I want to do is have a walk around the car, show you some of the features on this particular one, and then we'll have a talk to Stephen about the importation process and what he can do for you. Starting from the outside, it is a very recognisable SZ5 style Jimny. Of course, you can get them in different colours from Japan. This is the jungle green, but you can also import the grey. The wheels are the same alloys that you'd have seen around the UK as well. One of the more obvious differences is the square number plate mountings, front and rear. Stephen has told me that on his cars he changes those for the standard rectangular plates. Around the rear is very much the same again as the UK one, with the exception of the Sierra badge. You can also get this changed to a Jimny badge if you wish. One of the nice features of these is the folding door mirrors with the built-in indicators, as well as the keyless entry system where you can push to open and close the doors. As part of the keyless system, you've also got push button start, and this is associated with auto stop start, which you can see on the buttons here, as well as the rear fog light that has been added as part of the IVA. Moving on to the dashboard itself, some of the messages are in Japanese clearly, but it's not that many, and when we looked at it, it really isn't a pain because the rest of it is actually in English. This one has been converted to miles an hour, which is required by the IVA, but you see the odometer still works in kilometres. Moving on to the radio, Japanese radios are different, so in this case Stephen has fitted a UK specification radio, but you have to note that the aerial on it is not DAB compliant. So people tend to do what this car has done in a local car park, and that's fitted a DAB aerial into the windscreen. The rest of the interior is pretty recognisable. The seat trimming is actually slightly different, but of course you've got the extra seats in the back compared to the LCV in the UK. Moving outside and under the bonnet, the engine is completely recognisable to those of us in the UK as being a standard fitment. I could see no differences here from the ones that we have, apart from under the bonnet itself, where Suzuki have fitted a lovely looking sound deadening sheet. So in that walk round, you saw me referring to the features on this car. This one is a JC model, okay, which is a top of the range model in Japan. When you are importing, remember to look very closely at the model you're buying. There are a number of different option levels in terms of trim on the what is called the Sierra, the JC model, but equally you may be interested in a K car. Okay, K, Kai, I don't know how it's pronounced, but in Japan they have a standard of car which is really designed to meet their requirements in the city. Okay, it's a city-based car, and there are lots of tax benefits and so on for people in Japan to buy the K version of a car. Okay, you'll see that we call these occasionally the JB74, okay, which is its code name. K car in this version is called the JB64. Okay, and this meets the Japanese city specifications, and you will see these come up on auction sites, you will see these being imported, but just be aware of the differences. This one has got the 1500cc or 1462cc K15 engine. The K cars have got an RO6A 600cc 660cc engine, okay, which is a smaller engine to meet the K specifications. This is turbocharged to give it some oomph, but it is only 64 horsepower as opposed to 102 horsepower in one of these. Okay, so it's got a lot less power to it. That also is not particularly offset by the weight. So the K car is a 1,050 kilograms, whereas this one is 1,095 kilograms. So there's only 40 kilograms in it. So it's a lot less powerful, but it's not that much lighter than the Sierra that this one is here. So, you know, do watch out for those differences. However, the car is much narrower. It's about 20 centimeters narrower because it doesn't have these flared arches and that on it. So it really is a nice little city car for running around in the city. And those of you who've got these big flared arches on any of the UK ones will know that they mark really easily. The plastics do mark. So the fact that they're basically not there on the city version, the K car, could be seen as an advantage. So just watch that when you're buying. Make sure you're getting the version you want, either the correct trim level if it is a Sierra, or if you wanted a Kai car that you realise you're buying a Kai car, it's got a smaller engine. Yeah, it's got a turbocharger in it. It's quite nippy around town. But again, turbocharged, little small turbocharged engines are not necessarily too good off-road because they don't have the sort of low down revs torque that you really need for off-roading. So that's just a quick summary of the different versions you may see on the import market. So Stephen, thank you very much for letting me to come up here and look at these new cars. It is wonderful to see a new Jimny in the UK, having Suzuki having killed the beast, so to speak. That so take me through a bit about the importing and what you do and what your offer is.
It was a couple of years ago. We were after one with 4 seats, and we realised that to get an SZ5 anymore, you've got to import them. My family's in the motor trade and had previously imported, so I used their contacts.
Yeah.
And when we started importing them for ourselves, we realised how many people were interested. So I've just started a steady flow of imports since then. But I am a Jimny enthusiast as opposed to a car importer.
Yeah.
And now I've started importing them and just, for other people. And now that the ban across Europe and with the LCVs, I've just started upping the amount I import because there's a lot of people want them. And what's available on around at the moment, there's dealers just importing them en masse, don't really know what they are and putting quite a lot of money on them, and they seem quite expensive at the moment. So hopefully the more people sort of importing this, the price comes down. But as we found, they're actually a really good car. I know a lot of people are scared of imports, but I'm sure like yourself, you've realised that they're actually a really good car, especially from Japan.
So by going through someone such as yourself, what hassle does it save a person?
There's a lot of pitfalls you can have, especially if you don't know people out there to help you out. The problem is that the whole journey, there's always someone that wants to make money out of you. My feeling is if you go to personally import yourself, by the time it gets onto your drive, you'll have spent so much money, it's probably not worth you taking all the risk yourself and trying to do it. Because you'll see websites out there or auction sites with a really low price. By the time it gets here, it'll be a completely different price. I'm trying to do it sort of not as a dealership, but get them here, like this one here. It's not even put this on for sale at the moment. Lots of people put them on there with 10 weeks. It's on its way, not even seen it. I get it registered with Suzuki UK, get it onto their system. I usually get them to do the first service. So it's on their database. They've seen the car, they're happy with it. I get a UK manual printed, UK service book printed with its first stamp. You still got the Japanese one that'll be included, but generally the ones I import won't have been serviced yet. They'll be sort of 6 to 12 months old with no miles on.
Yeah.
This one's got, I think, 190 kilometres on, and it's coming up to around sort of 12 months old. And I'll get it fitted with the sort of latest CarPlay, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay stereo, get all the maps fitted, all the little extras that you might not have as a standard, and get it ready for just someone as if they were going to Suzuki. Everything there. Warranty wise, whatever any dealer tells you, Suzuki won't give you a warranty with a Japanese import. However, some dealer might offer a 6-month warranty with them, but I mean, you probably know yourself, these things are bulletproof and fairly it's not really a worry, is it, to not have a warranty with these? Not much can go wrong, and if they do go wrong, it's not the end of the world. It's not a massive amount of money, so it's not something you need to worry about.
Yeah, I think basically most of the parts on here are identical anyway, aren't they? To the ones that were available in the UK. So the parts will be available through the dealer chain as normal anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really a concern. So for anyone that wants a 4-seater without having huge miles on, the imports are perfect. And as I'm putting them on, I put them on Instagram or to Trader. I'm not trying to make mega money. I'm just trying to sort of have them just flow just every now and again. Another one arrives and sell. This one here, this one's a green automatic with no miles. I've got a grey manual. I've got an ivory manual. And I'm just trying to pick the colours that maybe are not so common in the UK and mix it up between automatic transmission and manuals, because there are a lot of people that do like the autos. My personal one over there, that's an automatic and it's a brilliant gearbox, but same as the manual.
Yeah. And if I heard you say Instagram, so that's how people can contact you through Instagram. Your Instagram will appear here on the video underneath here.
Yeah,
magic of editing.
Jimny Imports. It's just we'll build on that. It's just to keep an idea, and of course, as me and the wife, we go green laning a lot to the big Jimny meets, and we're modifying our own. And if someone wants one like mine with little modifications, it's really easy for me to get done for them to be modified, ready to go. Whether that be just something simple like changing the indicators to clear, or whether it's blacking out badges or roof racks. We're even getting into awnings now, because the 270 awnings, there's not many places you can buy them from in this country.
Yeah,
so
we did see the 270 awnings over at the big Jimny meet, and I thought, people have got tent boxes, and I'm not a fan of the tent.
No,
tent boxes,
much for
but when that 270 awning came out, you go, there's the sorts of solutions.
Yeah, so that'll be the next things that's on our Instagram page. So we're importing different ones of those to trial on our own, and if we really find one that works well, we'll start offering those out as well.
Brilliant.
All for the Jimny. But no, it's a brilliant car, and as you can see, one on my drive, it's staying there. And again, like with the tax insurance, you don't need to be worried about it. The insurance, I think you check yourself.
Yeah.
It's a marginal increase for it being an import, and the tax is considerably cheaper than the LCVs. Yeah, told me right.
And this one particular one, which version is it? The J?
This is known in Japan as the JC, which is pretty much the equivalent of an SZ5.
Yeah.
So it comes with the alloy wheels, heated seats, all the things the SZ5 have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Cruise control, 4 seats, and the electric folding mirrors, which I'm not too sure if the SZ5 has them.
No. This has got lots of features that the SZ5 doesn't have. No folding mirrors. You've got the keyless entry and all of that on here too.
Yeah, keyless entry is a really good bonus.
Yeah.
No, none of the old-fashioned keyblade in this one. And my own's on my Instagram page. So if someone sees something they like on that, I'll happily get it fitted if they want to buy a car.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much for hosting me here.
Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, Ed.
Cheers.
I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, then please like and subscribe, and you'll get a notification. Thank you to Stephen from Jimny Imports for hosting me for the day. This video has not been sponsored or anything like that. It's just been done for my own interest, which I hope you enjoyed as well. So, until the next time, drive carefully, and I'll see you further down the road.